It's Tuesday, the 4th of February 2025. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories to race through in 5 minutes, so we better get cracking. Story number 1, President Donald Trump overnight paused tariffs on Mexico for a month after the US's southern neighbor agreed to send 10,000 National Guard troops to further block the border between the two countries.
It came after Donald Trump spoke to his Mexican counterpart, Claudia Sheinbaum, in a, as he called it, very friendly conversation. On his Truth social media platform, he said that the two leaders had agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs for a month, during which we will have negotiations. That sounds like he's opening the way for something different in the future. Who knows? Trump also spoke to Canadians Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, though as we get aware, no deal has yet been done. That knocked financial markets. Wall Street fell sharply initially, only to rebound later in the session. Some specific stocks are losing big time, notably Nvidia, the chip maker. It's now down $850 billion over the last week. It's about $1.4 trillion. All this uncertainty certainly helped gold prices. New high overnight, $2,818 an ounce. Where do we stand this morning? A little confused about what's going on, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sean, local markets certainly got caught up in the tariff storm yesterday.
Yes, Australia was the first major economy to trade after the tariff announcement over the weekend. The S&P ASX 200 fell by nearly 2% to finish at 8,379 points. All the market sub-indices fell, little escaping, if you look at across the different sectors, consumer discretionary, healthcare, financials, materials, real estate, industrials, all ended much lower.
All right, on to story number 2 now, Sean. And federal parliament sits today for the first time this year, and already it is all about the upcoming election, which is due by the middle of May.
We can expect a feisty few weeks of parliament until an election is called. Michael, the government has fast-tracked introduction of legislation for its childcare policy that will abolish requirements around parents needing to work to gain a childcare subsidy. They think that's a winner over the coalition. An admission by Peter Dutton that the coalition will examine detailed spending cuts should it win office rather than beforehand has provided plenty of fuel for Labor, who say voters won't know what they're getting if they vote for the opposition. And there's been stories in the media about the cost of a meeting with Peter Dutton jumping from $5,000 to $10,000 as his chances of winning improve.
Story number 3, this is a bit of reasonably good news. Retail sales across the country remain solid, helped by the strong labour market and the pickup in consumer sentiment as well.
Turnover fell very slightly during the month of December, according to the Bureau of Statistics, but that was much better than expected. We had really strong growth in October and November, so Black Friday sales fell in November. That helped. In December last year, Cyber Monday fell into that month, so that helped things like furniture, homewares, electronics, and electrical items. But the longer-term trend, which is really what we should look at, is a steady pickup in spending. Bunch of things going on. The labour market's really strong. Consumer sentiment is picking up. People are actually getting more bang for their buck in their pay. So real wages are growing as inflation falls. There's also fiscal support, so those energy rebates means we don't have to pay as much for energy prices, more money in the pocket. All this is good news. Now, it doesn't really mean that it's supercharging the economy, so the Reserve Bank probably won't change its mind on whatever it does for rates in 2 weeks' time, but it is a good news economic story.
Story number 4, kind of related because we are talking about people shopping and spending money, but Coles is set to cut the number of products that it sells by 10%, hoping then for higher sales of the products that are still left on the shelf.
It's been working with management consultant Bain for a few months, according to a story in the AFR. The company has told large investors that even if they cut product numbers by at least 10%, there'll still be a wider range of goods than pre-pandemic. The idea is to use the space and money for more popular products, sell more goods. Kind of makes sense. A little bit risky though. Coles and Woolies have both been blamed by the government for higher prices in recent months. Now, the competition regulator, the ACCC, is investigating how much power the supermarkets have in setting prices, how they're dealing with suppliers. So I'm sure this will come under scrutiny as well.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. Last one, story number 5. This is good news, Sean, for people like me who enjoy gentle exercise. There is growing evidence that an evening stroll after dinner can be of great health benefit to people.
Research shows being active after 6 p.m. can lower the chance of getting bowel cancer. There are also studies that show walking after eating can improve digestion, regulate blood sugar, lower blood pressure, and aid weight loss. According to the Daily Telegraph of London, studies have found that physical activity is relaxing, so may reduce stress-related inflammation. It's also good for cardiovascular metabolism, especially by reducing blood pressure, which in turn reduces stress and inflammation throughout our organs. Exercise also helps you sleep better, which is another factor that reduces chronic stress and inflammation. In fact, researchers at the University of Sydney recently have analysed the health and activity patterns of about 80,000 people. They found that those who walked 3,800 steps per day, 3.2 Ks, had a 25% lower risk of developing dementia compared to those who didn't walk much at all. Moral of the story, take a walk after dinner.
Oh, I like that moral, Sean. There we go, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Tuesday, the 4th of February, 2025. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.